Welcome to Knicks Home Court with your host. My name is Greg Armstrong. This is episode number 23. In today's episode, we're going to analyze the Knicks' matinee victory against the Atlanta Hawks, and we're going to jump right into the topic, the Knicks' strength of schedule, along with other little tangents and rants that I may have. Also, music brought to you by bensound.com. So, the Knicks played a very good game against Atlanta Hawks, and Melo was Melo. I just want to say this real quick. Like I told you, there'll be a little bit of tangents on this. People say, this is KP's team, and KP is the best player on the Knicks. When he scores 35 points, which was a great game, everybody was jumping for joy. Look at this. Melo scores 31, and it's ho-hum. You know why? Because that's what he does. Talk to me about Kristaps Porzingis being the best player on the team when he could score 31, and it'd be like, oh, okay, that's just Kristaps. Talk to me when that happens. Other than that, please be quiet. Please sit down. And also, I want to talk about the trade Melo crowd. It's a dumb thing. First of all, it can't happen without his consent. I repeat, he cannot be traded unless he agrees to be traded. Now, knowing Melo, knowing his wife Lala, they want a big market if he were to agree to be traded. As the Knicks are playing well, he's not going to agree to it, but I looked into it last podcast. I'm just going to say he's looking LA, New York, Chicago, big cities. That's it. He's not going to Chicago. He doesn't fit with the Clippers because the Clippers don't have enough to give us. And he ain't going to Brooklyn Nets. I mentioned the Boston Celtics in the last podcast. Yes, that probably will be a good fit, and they do have pieces, but I doubt the Knicks would be willing to trade, and I don't think he wants to move to Boston. So let's just put that bullshit to rest. If anybody writes an article about Carmelo being traded or he should be traded, just understand that's clickbait. That's straight up clickbait, and that's it. Because Knicks fans, I'm here for you. The reason why I do this podcast, the reason why I do it, I don't even have a bunch of listeners. One day maybe somebody will go back and listen to all these things I said. That's coming to fruition. However, I do this for the Knicks fans that listen, the diehards that don't want to be misled by the media. Because understand, when you say something negative about the Knicks, you get more clicks. That's what it's about. You get callers. There's a lot of people that are angry Knicks fans. And they're pessimistic Knicks fans. So when you talk negative about the Knicks, you're going to get a big response. The Knicks beat Atlanta Hawks yesterday. Very good game. They played a very good game. Kyle Korver got off. He did work. He did okay. Dwight Howard played well. Paul Millsap played well. Kent Bazemore played okay. Hardaway played decently. And we still beat them. I'm listening to the media, and they're saying that, the Hawks let the Knicks win. And I'm like, no, the Hawks played well offensively, but the Knicks made them miss enough shots. Well, let me change that. The Knicks played well defensively, causing the Hawks to shoot a lower percentage. But let's give the Knicks some credit. Let's not take away their credit. Willie Hernangomez was a pest in Dwight Howard's side. He didn't outplay Dwight Howard, but he was a pest. He made it hard for Dwight Howard to do Dwight Howard things. Joakim Noah didn't play in the game. I don't want to hear the Knicks are better without Joakim Noah. That's stupid. That's dumb. It's just dumb. Joakim Noah is a plus to this team, regardless. If he's starting, coming off the bench, if he's playing 15 to 20 minutes, he's better than all those other players they have on the bench. He's better than Kyle O'Quinn. He's better than Willie Hernangomez. Stop it. Only time it's addition by subtraction with a player as talented or as good as Joakim Noah is when there's disruption in the locker room. And he's a plus, bringing his leadership and his work ethic to the team. So just shut the hell up. And stop mentioning the man's contract. Nobody mentioned the money you make. Nobody's talking about these writers and these guys who are not really good at their job, and regular layman people who don't really do a good job at their old job. Nobody talk about your money. Stop talking about the man's money. He got what the market put out there, or what the Knicks put out there. It doesn't matter. It's not my money. It's not your money. Don't worry about it. Okay? Now, I thought Kristaps had a very good game. He's averaging 20 points a game. He's playing very well this season. As I said, he'll be around. I want him to get more rebounds, but I think he's getting less rebounds because of the positioning of the players half the time. He's not down low a lot. He's up top. He's picking and popping. He's not in position to get rebounds. But yesterday he had 11 rebounds. So he played well last night. He got the rebounds. And also, too, I just want to say another thing, that rebounding is overrated in the NBA. Yes, I said it. Rebounding is overrated. Okay? I'm not just saying this from the top of my head. I'm saying rebounding is overrated. It's an overrated stat. Because rebounding means, especially offensive rebounds, means you're missing shots. So if you're not missing shots, then there won't be that many offensive rebounds. For example, I'm going to tell you, the Boston Celtics that won the championship with that devastatingly defensive team with Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, and Paul Pierce, they were last in rebounding. Go look it up. They were last in rebounding and they won the championship. So don't get all caught up in that. And the reason why they were last in rebounding, and I think they were number one in defense, because they didn't go after offensive rebounds. They had a philosophy. When the ball goes up, run back on defense. We're not letting you fast break. You're going to have to play half-court basketball against us. And that was their strategy. So they didn't hardly get offensive rebounds. They probably got a decent amount of defensive rebounds, but they got no offensive rebounds because they went back on defense. Their motto was, the ball goes up, unless you're in that area, run back on D. Stop the fast break. Because teams, when they have to play in a half-court offense, a lot of teams struggle within their half-court offense, and it gives a chance for the defense to get set. So, understand that. You see, I'm also making this podcast because if you listen to the mainstream media, they're going to keep you, they don't want to really inform you. They just want you to listen. They just want you to call in. They just want to get ratings and they just want to make money. That's what it's about. Because if they brought somebody on there speaking the truth and the ratings were low, they would get off the show. It wouldn't last. So always understand that. So I thought Derrick Rose played well. I thought Jennings played well. Now let me tell you something about Derrick Rose. A lot of people are looking at his numbers. They're looking at Derrick Rose's numbers. They say, oh, he's a league average guard. He's not really that good. First of all, you can't separate the player from the team. And secondly, Clyde Frazier. The great Clyde Frazier said it. His penetration, his breaking down of the defense allows people like Noah or Hernan Gomez or Kristaps Porzingis to get offensive rebounds because he makes a team out of place. It also opens up for open three-point shots. A penetrating point guard doesn't always have to score the basket. Just the fact that he's breaking down the defense. That's the job of a point guard, is to break down the defense. Not necessarily score, but break down the defense. Make sure people are out of place. And Derrick Rose does this consistently. So does Brandon Jennings. So please, see, again, stop listening to people who don't understand the game. They don't understand the game, or they don't want to tell you the truth. When I watch the game, I see Derrick Rose penetrate. Now, when he penetrates and nobody's following him to the basket, that's not a good shot. But when he penetrates and the bigs, and they will learn, besides Noah, because Noah know this already, they will learn when Derrick Rose penetrates, run to the rim. Everybody's going to gravitate to Derrick Rose. You can get a lob, or you can get an offensive rebound dunk putback. He's done that. I call it the Allen Iverson effect. Everybody used to always look at Allen Iverson's shooting percentage, but never realized that Philadelphia was a number one offensive rebounding team because they just followed his misses. The Chicago Bulls did that for years with Derrick Rose. Just follow his misses. When you can penetrate the defense at the point of attack, it leaves everybody open. So a better way to measure Derrick Rose is drives per game. How many times he drives per game. That is going to be big time for the Knicks. And that is big time for the Knicks, which he did a good job of. He had 7 assists. He probably could have had more. I thought the Knicks' rotations were good. I think they played very good defense. They led the game from beginning to ending. They played a solid team game. And I keep telling y'all, listen to what I'm saying. The Knicks are coming. They're becoming a team. I told people you don't need peak Derrick Rose. You don't need the MVP Derrick Rose on this team. You have Carmelo Anthony, who is a star, and you have Kristaps Porzingis, who's becoming a star. And you have other players that can pitch in on different nights. You're not going to get Courtney Lee every night with 12 to 15 points. I would like it, but every night he's not going to do that. Also, he's getting a gang of assists too. But Justin Holiday has been a good revelation. But remember, in the media, the Knicks hate is not always about Knicks hate. It's about ratings. Don't get caught up in that. But like I said, come to Knicks Home Court, and I'm always going to give you the truth. I'm always going to give you the truth. No emotion, just perspective. When the Knicks look like shit, I'm going to let you know. I'm going to say it. When the Knicks are playing bad, I'm going to say it. But when I'm looking at the big picture in the 82-game season, I see this team growing, and they're continuing to grow. And when we beat a team like the Atlanta Hawks, I don't want to hear what the Hawks did bad. I don't want to hear that. The Knicks have talent on their team. Don't be surprised when Knicks beat good teams. Don't be surprised with that, because the whole question of the Knicks having, like they said, 38 wins was the fact of injury. If people are healthy, if the Knicks are healthy, they're going to win a lot of games. Anyway, that's my tangent. I half-heartedly analyze these games. I don't analyze games like other guys and tell you shooting percentages and stuff. I don't get all into that. I analyze where the average layman can understand. This guy played well. This guy didn't play well. This guy, their defense were good because they got out the shooters. They stopped shooters from shooting threes, or they contested threes. Simple. I don't need to get into a bunch of numbers. I think you can understand from there. We all watching the games. Okay? Now this leads me into, I'm going to go right into the next topic, and we're going to talk about strength of schedule. So, strength of schedule. A lot of people are making a big deal about teams that's played 12, 13 games. And I always said that you really don't know a team. Your first real glimpse of a team, your first real judgment of a team has to be about 25 games in. 25 to 30 games. Then you can start understanding how good a team is. Why? It's because then they've had the opportunity to go around the league. You know, you had the Lakers starting off good. They were over 500. They've been losing lately. I looked at their schedule. They've played a lot of sub 500 teams to start the season. So that was fool's gold. I looked at a lot of teams that were winning, and I'm realizing their strength of schedule wasn't that good. The Knicks, on the other hand, has one of the toughest strength of schedules. And I'm gonna read it to you. Now, I'll break this down. In their wins, they beat Memphis, Chicago, Brooklyn, Dallas, Detroit, Atlanta. Now, looking at that on the surface, it's 38 wins against 41 losses. Now, if I just take two teams out of that equation, Brooklyn and Dallas, two teams, 4-9, 2-10, that's 19 losses right there. So if I just take those two teams out, which give them 19 losses, they're 6-19. Those two teams combined. If I take those two teams out, the record of the teams the Knicks have beat this year is a record of 32-22. And you must pay attention to that, because two teams are responsible for 19 losses. So that means that the rest of the teams the Knicks played, Memphis 8-5, Chicago 9-5, Detroit is now 6-8. They've been losing some games. Atlanta 9-4. So the overall record of those teams is 32-22. Now let's look at the teams they lost to. The combined record of the teams they lost to is 49-43. right? These are the teams they lost to. Now, if I take out the one bad loss, the really bad loss, Washington, which is 3-9, then the record of the teams they've lost to is 46-34. That's the record. Now, I'm going to give you a total of the teams they've played so far, their record, to let you know the strength of schedule. Total, it's 87-84. 87 wins against 84 losses of the entire schedule this season. Now, if I eliminate three teams are responsible for the majority of those losses. Okay, if I eliminate Brooklyn and Dallas, that's 19 losses between those two, and then throw Washington in there, that's 28 losses with three teams. So they're not playing 500 teams, even though it looks like they're playing. No, they're not playing 500 teams. There's three teams that suck that they played: Brooklyn, Dallas, and Washington, for a total of 28 losses. If you minus those three, the rest of the teams they played against, the total record is 78-56. 22 games over 500. These are the teams that the Knicks have played. 22 games over 500 if you minus those three teams. See, now those are important stats. Now let me read the list of the teams they lost to. Cleveland, 10-2. Detroit, yes, they lost to them, 6-8. Houston, 8-5. Utah, 7-8. Boston, 7-6. Toronto, 8-5. And I mentioned Washington, 3-9. These are not excuses, but this is a strength of schedule. Look at this. Strength of schedule. 78-56 if you minus those three teams. Tell me who starts off with such a strength of schedule like this, and we've managed to still be one game under 500. Folks, this is a good Knicks team. This is a good Knicks team. Don't let nobody tell you that. And I'm going to tell you, of course, health is always an issue. Look for them to make a run in January, because in January the schedule gets soft. And by January, the team will know who they are, and you'll see them playing well. Actually, even in December, you're going to see them start beating good teams, because the Knicks are a good team. I don't pay attention to early season records. You have to wait, because you're going to see a lot of teams that right now, playoff teams, they're going to fall off. They're going to fall to the bottom of the pack. I don't think Atlanta's as good as their record is saying. They have a good system, but they have Dwight Howard, Paul Millsap, and a bunch of role players. Let's be real. Schroeder is not as good as Teague. Well, we'll see, but so far he doesn't seem as good as Teague. I expect Indiana to rise. You know why? Because they got Paul George, Jeff Teague. They have a good team. I think they're going to rise. Mark my words, folks. I'm not going to get into the prediction games, but in the NBA, it's one of the easier leagues to predict because talent rises to the top. And the Knicks have talent. All of that system play is great. But eventually, when the talent works hard, it's unbeatable. See, the reason why the Knicks have been losing some of these games is that the talent didn't know each other and the talent wasn't working hard. But when the talent begins to work hard and put effort into it, then you're going to see a different team, and you're starting to see that. So I'm going to tell you right now what's going to happen. The Knicks are going to they should continue to play well. They should be over 500 soon. And you're going to hear a lot of pundits and media people act surprised. I'm pleasantly surprised. Look at how the Knicks are playing. What they're doing is slightly moving over to the Knicks bandwagon a little bit. Because they don't want to look stupid. Because they know what they said before was stupid. Because they didn't properly analyze this team. So you're going to slowly see, if the Knicks do better, you're going to slowly see people act surprised that Derrick Rose is playing well. That Carmelo Anthony is Carmelo Anthony. That Kristaps is turning into a budding star. They're going to act surprised about this. That Joakim Noah is grabbing 14 and 15 rebounds every couple of games. That Courtney Lee is the player that we thought he was. You're going to start seeing this. This is not a young team. This is a team eventually. First of all, they're veterans. It takes veterans time to get to know each other, and then all of a sudden, then once they start to get comfortable, they start to play their veteran game, their game that has years behind it. players are going to be who they are. Just like you have some of these teams that are surprising now. What's going to happen is they're going to regress to the median. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say. I just had to get that out there. You can find, this brings me to the end of the podcast. Sorry about that. You can find Knicks Home Court on YouTube under Knicks Home Court. You can also go to iTunes, Life Culture Sports. And you can also go to the website, lifeculturesports.com/Knicks Home Court. Or you can go to SoundCloud under Life Culture Sports. And on that note, let's get another victory. We got Portland coming in. It's a penetrating point guard and Damian Lillard, which is not easy. He might drop 50. Who knows? Damian Lillard's a good player, and Portland has been struggling lately. So we're going to see what happens with that game. Hopefully the Knicks can continue to play well and play hard. Again, I'm not worried about their talent. This is not, when they win games against good teams, I don't look at it as overachieving. I look at it as them playing well. Them playing up to their talent within a system and playing hard defense. Also, too, I noticed I haven't really been seeing much triangle. I've been looking for the triangle. Maybe there's no triangle shape. Maybe they're doing. But I got to say, Hornacek is coaching the way he wants to coach. And folks, we got ourselves a real coach. We got ourselves a good coach. I love it. Everybody be good. Peace.